Ernest Hemingway once wrote something that has haunted me for years. He said, "The world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places. But those that will not break, it kills." I want you to sit with that for a second. The world breaks everyone. Hey guys, I want to welcome you back to the Built to Win Academy podcast. If you're new here, listen, I want you to know one thing. We are building men. We help men win the inner war inside. And through lived experiences and the lens through which I have been able to see the world and also others, we are building men all around from the ages of like 25 that's trying to figure it out, to understand what it means to step into manhood, and even those all the way up to 65 that is just looking back and wondering if I been living up to the legacy I've been trying to live and leave behind. We are doing the work brick by brick. And today, brick by brick, we are doing the work. And today, we are talking about something most men spend their entire lives running from. We are talking about being broken. You see, society told us a lie. From the moment we are old enough to understand words, it tells us that real men are unbreakable. You see, it let us know that a real man is a fortress of stone, immune to the elements, immune to the pain, immune to failure. We are taught to puff out our chests, to swallow our grief, and to project an image of absolute invincible, to be invincible at all times. But I'm here to tell you the truth. That fortress is a complete lie. Every single man watching this right now has been broken in some form or fashion. And I want you to know if you are about to be broken, if you have been broken, if you've been broken by divorce that ripped your family apart, if you've been broken by business failure that emptied your bank account and your pride, you've been broken by a father who wasn't there, or a father who was there but only knew how to use his hands in anger. You've been broken by your own poor decisions, your own addictions, your own silent shame. And what do we do when we are broke? When we break, we hide the pieces, we sweep them under a rug, and we isolate because we believe that a broken man is worthless. We think a broken man is a worthless man. We think our value is tied to our perfection. But just like I was speaking about earlier, Hemingway had it right. The men who refuse to admit they are broken, the men who keep up the facade that who numb the pain with alcohol, with women, with work, with anger, those are the men the world eventually kills. It kills their marriages, and it even kills their potential. But the men who allow themselves to be broken and then do the analyzing work and putting the pieces back together, those men become dangerous in the best way possible. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, is stronger than a broken man who has rebuilt himself. Let me say that again. Nothing is more stronger or impactful than a broken man who has came back together to rebuild themselves. I want to talk about a story, or just give an illustration, right? In Japan, there's an ancient art, and I don't know if you heard about it. I don't really know how to say the full name of it, but it's when a piece of powder breaks, a bowl, a cup, something valuable, right? And you don't throw it away. You don't try to glue it back together so that it looks, like nothing's ever been broken. Instead, you repair the cracks with this mixture. It's like a powder gold. And they take the broken pieces and they highlight them. They illuminate the fractures, and the philosophy behind this, right, is profound. They believe that when something has suffered damage and has a history, it becomes more beautiful, not less. The break is not the end of that object life. It's the vital part of its history. And brothers, why do we treat our lives differently than the Japanese treat their clay? Most men spend their entire lives hiding their scars. We are terrified that if someone sees where we were cracked or broken, where we failed, where we wept, they will strip us of our manhood. So we walk away like fragile, glued together vases, terrified that one wrong move will shatter us again. The actor, celebrity Terry Crews, a man built like one of the gladiators you see on 300, a man who played in the NFL recently, wrote about this. He said he lived his entire adult life with a false idea of what is meant to be, of what it meant to be tough. He walked around with his chest puffed out, thinking he was the ultimate alpha male. But inside, he said he was weak, powerless, and driven entirely by shame, insecurity, and fear. He had hit rock bottom. Comfort his addictions and admit his absolute brokenness before he found what he called true power. You see, true power is not the absence of brokenness. True power is the gold in the cracks. Think about the men we respect the most in the world. Think about the most men we respect in the world. Think about Malcolm X. He didn't start out as a visionary leader. He was a street hustler. He was a criminal. He was broken down and thrown into a prison cell. He was in that broken place stripped of all his false bravado that he rebuilt in his mind. But he rebuilt his mind, his faith, and his purpose. He was stronger at the broken places. Let me give you another person, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Before the fame, the money, and empire, he was a young man whose football dreams were shattered. He was cut from the Canadian Football League and moved back then with his parents. He had exactly $7 in his pocket. He battled several depressions. He was broken, but he didn't stay there. He refused, and I want you to know, when you refuse to acknowledge your brokenness, you are refusing your own growth, and you are choosing a state, a framework to stay fragile. Now, the rock bottom, right? I want you to understand that sometimes life's going to give you certain circumstances where you hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom. I went through a divorce where I thought I was doing everything right. But I want you to know, sometimes when you do everything right, you can still lose at some of the things that you thought you was doing the best at. So here I am. I'm not here to just preach to you, right, from a mountaintop. I want you to know that you can get back up again. That even though I went through that divorce and I'm not able to see my daughter on an everyday basis, you can still wake up and get yourself up to where you need to be in life. See, there was a time in my life where I thought I had it all figured out. I had the external markers of success. I was doing what a man is supposed to do, but internally the foundation was rotting. You see, that actual instance was when I went through my divorce. You know, I thought I was doing everything a man needed to do: provide and be involved with the family, go on date nights, do family events. But sometimes, even if you give your best, it's just not enough. And through that, I lost myself because my family was basically split apart. I wasn't able to see my daughter each and every day, and I still deal with that battle each and every day as we speak today. And even though the divorce was hard, even though not seeing my daughter is hard, I could have chosen to just give up just right then and there. But I know my life had more of a purpose. I know my life was focused on more than just what I was going through. It was focusing on the people that was going to eventually be in my life that was going through the same ordeal. And now, instead of living in anger, I'm living in a place of healing and where I can help men overcome the same events that I went through myself. See, in that moment, I wasn't a leader. I wasn't a role model when I was going through the hurt, the pain, and everything, right? I was a broken man. And the pain of that, realizing what was happening, was suffocating. But I want you to know, when you hit that place, when the ego is stripped away and you are left naked with your own failures, you have two choices. You can let it destroy you. You can become bitter. You can blame your co-parent, your ex-wife. You can blame the economy. You can blame the systems. You can blame your boss. You can blame how you were raised. But I want you to know that's the easy route. That's the route of the victim. Or you can choose your heart. You can take ownership. And at the Built to Win Academy, one of our core principles is ownership over excuses. You see, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to put the pieces back together for you. You have to look at the shattered pieces of your life, pick them up, and say, I did this. This is my mess. And I am going to rebuild it brick by brick. That is the hardest thing a man can ever do. You see, it requires a level of immunity that feels like death. And in a way, it is a death. It is a death of your ego. It is the death of the boy inside who wants to just point fingers. But on the other side of that, right, the other side of getting past the old version of you is the birth of a man. When I finally stopped running from my brokenness, when I finally sat in the pain and said, okay, God, okay, I am broken. Show me how to rebuild. That was the moment my life actually began. That was the moment I stopped being fragile and started becoming dangerous. That's when businesses like Built to Win Academy was born. And when we can have ownership over excuses, we can truly begin to build brick by brick and not only help ourselves, but help others. So you're probably asking, okay, Josh, how do we do it? How do we get to this level of having ownership over excuses and getting to that next level? How do we take the broken pieces of our lives and fill them with gold? How do we become stronger at the broken places? And we do it the only way anything lasting is ever built. And we do it brick by brick. But here is the framework that you need to build off. Here is how you rebuild a broken man. Are you ready? Okay, here's brick number one. What I want you to do, I want you to be able to acknowledge the break. You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to your brothers. Stop saying, I'm good, man, when you're bleeding out internally. If your marriage is in shambles, admit it. If you are addicted to pornography, admit it. If you are drowning in debt because of your own pride, admit it. Healing leads to leadership. But you cannot heal a wound you are pretending isn't there. Step into the light. Own the brick. Own the break. And when you own the break, you can build upon the brick. Let's go into brick number two. Sit in the pain. Men are masters of numbing. We use alcohol. We use weed. We use 80-hour work weeks. We use the gym. We use women. We will do anything to avoid sitting in the silence with our own pain. But pain, I want you to know, is a teacher. pain is the fire that melts the gold for the repair. Just like we was talking about with the Japan artwork framework that they use. If you numb the pain, you numb the lesson. If you have to learn to sit in the discomfort of your failure, you don't lose, you learn. But you only learn if you are sober enough, mentally and emotionally strong enough to receive the lesson. Which leads us to brick number 3. Reset, don't restart. When men fail, we have a tendency to want to burn the whole house down. We stumble on our diet, so we eat garbage for the whole month. We lose our temper once, and so we decide to just be a toxic person and give up being a gentle human being, being a gentle father. And listen to me, reset, don't restart. You don't have to go back to the start line every time you trip. No, you don't. You just have to catch your balance and take the next step. Rebuilding is not a perfect upward trajectory. It is messy, it is jaded, and when you break a new piece, you just get the gold out again. You reset and focus on what you need to be doing. And then brick number 4, I want you to find brothers. You cannot rebuild in isolation. It's the bleeding ground for shame. You need men around you who can uplift you, that are also doing the work as well. You need men who can look at the broken pieces and not judge you, but hand you the tools you need to rebuild. You see, you need men who will call you out when you're slipping back into that old ways, the old place, and call you to a new standard that you know that you're trying to commit to. Now, after all of this, right, I just want you guys to have a big takeaway on everything that we covered. I want to speak directly to the men watching this who feels like he is beyond repair. The man who thinks he has broken too many promises and ruined too many relationships and wasted too many years. I want you to know right now, right here on this podcast, that you are not garbage. That you are not garbage. You are not finished. You are just in the middle of the breaking. You see, the world breaks everyone, but you get to decide if you are going to let it kill you or if you are going to become stronger at the broken places. We are not building a legacy of perfection here. No, that's not what we're here to do. We are building a legacy of resilience. We are building a legacy of men who fall down, bleed, get up, and keep marching again. Because a man who has been broken and rebuilt knows exactly what he is made of. He cannot be intimidated. He cannot be easily shaken. He has already survived his worst nightmare, and he is still standing. Nothing is stronger than a broken man. Let me repeat that again. Nothing is stronger than a broken man. But this is what I want you to do today, this week, or whenever you're able to see this podcast. I want you to identify the one broken area in your life that you have been hiding, the one thing you have been or are most ashamed of, and I want you to own it. I want you to write it down on a piece of paper, say it out loud in your car or wherever it is that you have some alone time, and confess to God. Stop hiding it. Bring it to the light so the gold can start pouring in. And if you are tired of doing this alone, if you are tired of drifting and pretending you have it all together, it is time to join you, brother, a community. And I want you to know, at the Built to Win Academy, we are a brotherhood of men who are building our lives, our families, and our legacies, brick by brick, each and every day. We don't do excuses here. We do the work. So if you're on my YouTube channel, listen, you can click the link in my description so you can join the Built to Win Academy. And if you want a reset, not a restart, you can definitely join the 7-day reset ebook. But nevertheless, my brother, continue to build your life, continue to build brick by brick. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode.